These are the 10 most powerful Nen abilities not shown in the Hunter x Hunter anime. So if you've only seen the Hunter x Hunter anime, then prepare to have your mind consensually blown. Following the conclusion of the 2011 series, the manga plowed ahead and we are currently on our way to the Dark Continent. However, we've been caught up in some local politics of the Kakin Empire and plunged into the chaos of the Succession War, which currently threatens to be the largest scale conflict ever depicted in Hunter x Hunter, with a truly ridiculous quantity of new Nen abilities, many of which are on a whole new level of power to anything the anime had the pleasure of adapting. And the first of our absurdly powerful Nen abilities not shown in the anime belongs to Chrollo Lucifer. And that's not something you can say very often because most of his Nen abilities belong to other people. He's a thieving, pinchin', lootin' heathen. However, one of Chrollo's huge weaknesses has always been that he can only use one stolen ability from the skill hunter book at a time. Well, this is no longer a problem because in order to fight battle against Hisoka, Chrollo conjured himself a pretty little bookmark, and this ability is called Double Face. It allows Chrollo to mark a page in the skill hunter book, which will keep the ability on that page active even when Chrollo turns to a new page or closes the book. So for the first time in Hunter x Hunter history, when this happened back in 2016, Chrollo can now fight entirely hands-free if he chooses. The bookmark is a teeny tiny object, but it makes Chrollo infinitely more dangerous than he already was, because it doesn't just double his output capabilities, it also allows him to mix and match different combinations of abilities. It may be one of the highest value, lowest cost Nen abilities, although there are restrictions. We just don't know exactly what they are yet, but Chrollo makes reference to, quote, more annoying conditions to deal with, implying that he has to perform or is unable to perform a multitude of activities in order to make use of Double Face. One theory is that Chrollo isn't allowed to lie while the ability is active, and also that he has to answer questions posed to him, which is why he was so unusually open and helpful during his fight with Hisoka. That and for necessary audience exposition because we need to know exactly what the crap is going on. Power levels in Hunter x Hunter are really difficult to ascertain because the sheer diversity of Nen abilities means that you never quite know how any given matchup is going to play out. And that diversity is also the major strength of a game that I enjoy playing, featuring over 800 crazy champion people all clashing in climactic fight battles. I am of course speaking of Raid Shadow Legends, a game I genuinely believe to be the most content-rich mobile experience currently in existence, which month after month continues to relentlessly expand that value proposition, such as this month's opportunity to grab Ninja, a limited edition champion, and one of the all-time most powerful legendaries ever released. And if you download the game through my link and use the promo code Ninja Returns, then all of that sweet, sweet power, it could be yours, it could be. Go ahead, take it. Whilst existing players can get a free Ninja pack between now and August 20th. And Raid isn't content with simply providing you with in-game content. No, content and content are spelled the exact same way, but they're said different. That's odd. Plus, you can click my link or scan the QR code to get a huge starter pack with epic champion Anax, from the undead hordes to undeaden the lives of your enemies. And after reaching level 15, you'll get another starter pack featuring the epic Fane, who will also contribute to your violent legacy of glory. These two champions are available through my link and my QR code only. Don't you go using other people's QR codes, I'm watching you. And so you may as well come find me under the name Grandline Review and join my clan. Or start your own clan, be your own man. Prove your father wrong about all of those things he probably said about you by installing Raid today. So let me know how that goes, but for now, it's back to you, me. Chrollo wasn't the only one to get an upgrade either. In fact, Hisoka now has an even more powerful ability than him, which we'll get to later in the video. But firstly, I wanted to stop off at the farm and pick up some milk courtesy of our cow Zodiac Mizai Storm, one of the only Zodiacs to have performed his Nen ability for our viewing curiosities, and it is called Cross Game. And it's another deceptively simple one like Chrollo's bookmark. Except this time we have three things. Mizai Storm has access to 3 conjured cards, blue, yellow, and red, which need to be activated in sequence. At the moment this is sounding dangerously sports-like, but it's not that. In fact, this is all about highly unfair litigation and a biased justice system. So the blue card admits a target, or targets plural, into Mizai Storm's, quote, courtroom. The yellow card then puts them under his control, and the red card dismisses them. When I say puts people under his control, those are Mizai Storm's words. From what we've seen so far, he's only capable of immobilizing people, and only after they've ignored a warning to stop their aggressive intent. Remember, Mizai Storm is a crime hunter, so his aim is to preserve the crime scene as best he can, which means that he's found a way to hunt whilst avoiding as much fighting and wanton damage as possible. But the reason why Cross Game is so powerful is because it currently has no known counter. If you want to fight Mizai Storm and he warns you with a yellow card, and you continue to fight, then you're done. You either have to not fight or fight but not fight. You'll be trapped in his courtroom until Mizystorm decides to release you, and it's very possible that that isn't even the full extent of his ability. I definitely think that some of the most dangerous characters in Hunter x Hunter are those who incorporate the legal system in some way or have a legal background, because lawyers tend to have a knack for crafting abilities with airtight detail. Which brings us to one of the most insane abilities only in the manga, held by Yoko Tani, a legal advisor of the Heoli family who developed a Battle of Wits, one of the rare undefeatable Nen abilities, although it is purely a defensive Hatsu. In any Heoli hideout where the leader, Morena Prudo, is present, Yoko Tani has complete legal authority over everyone within its boundaries and can eject anyone from the hideout by summoning these funky robot guards. To reiterate, this ability is undefeatable. No matter how powerful the individual is, it could be the Ant King Meruem himself, doesn't matter, these guards cannot be harmed. But in return, the guards also cannot harm the target, they can only pick them up and eject them, which happened to Nobunaga and Hinri when they tried to invade the Heoli hideout. As of right now, it is definitely one of the greatest defensive Nen abilities in the series, although there is one later on that could really take that title depending on your priorities. But Yoko Tani only has this ability due to an even more powersome Hatsu known as Contagion, wielded by the aforementioned Morena Prudo. And Contagion is what happens when you combine pandemics with RPGs. Through her saliva, Morena, known as Member Zero, can infect up to 22 people who all become players in a Nen game. The goal of this Nen game is to level up and eventually reach level 100. And along the way, there are certain benefits for reaching those particular milestones. One being that after hitting level 20, the player will automatically manifest their own unique Nen ability, which is beyond insane because abilities are not easy to develop. They generally require a great deal of training, thought, and profound desire all coming together in harmony. But if you're infected with Contagion, then this leveling is just going to carry you to glory, because every level you gain also boosts your aura output. So there is zero training required whatsoever. And once you start to get up there to level 30, all of a sudden you are overtaking Nen veterans. Of course, the issue is that to level up, you need to kill people. Killing a regular person gains you 1 level. Killing a Nen user, that grants you a juicy 10 levels. And if you manage to kill a Kakin Prince, then that will be a whopping 50 levels. And then after hitting level 100, you become a Member Zero yourself. And now you have Morena's Contagion ability in addition to all of the other things you gained. So you can then go and infect another 22 people, and so the game continues until lots and lots of death. But the reason why this is so powerful is because you can basically snap 22 new Nen abilities into existence. Or maybe not snap, let's say kiss passionately 22 Nen abilities into existence, because that is Morena's favored method of infection. But to put this into some perspective, this is a power that currently threatens another Chimera Ant scale disaster, because you've got large groups of people rapidly gaining power and on the brink of surpassing the veteran Nen users aboard the Black Whale 1. Speaking of veterans, someone who deserves a mention on a list like this is Jing Freaks, who in the anime displayed no Nen at all, and in the manga, this has changed. While no specific Hatsu has been named, Jing has displayed the frankly terrifying capacity to copy the Nen abilities of others through simple analysis. I want to stress, Jing's ability is not to copy other abilities, he is just that good at Nenning. After having experienced a power, in this case Leoria's remote punch in his face, Jing was able to analyze, break it down, and replicate the ability, so in a sense he developed it naturally. He certainly plagiarized the power. If there was a Nen civil court, this would be an issue. But here's the thing, Jing actually improved the ability, so we can't even call it a cheap knockoff. Jing came into the remote punch market with a superior product, and the incredible potential of being able to develop his own versions of any new powers he struck with. Except for this one. One attack that Jing certainly does not want to tank is 9th Prince Hulkenberg's possession arrow. With every shot of his Nen bow, Hulkenberg makes a Nen vow that if he misses, he dies. And in exchange for that sheer determination, the arrow itself is unblockable, and the second of 3 abilities in this video that not even Meruem could overcome. It's not a simple shoot and kill power though. Instead, once struck, the consciousness of one of Hulkenberg's followers will be inserted into the body of the victim, which is arguably much more better because you can then use that body for all sorts of secret spying and stuff. Although theoretically there is a hard limit on how many times you can fire the arrow, because eventually you're gonna run out of followers to insert into other people. But Togashi is going wild with Nen in this latest and currently manga only arc, and Kurapika Hisoka has also received an absurd new ability as well. So during York New City, we only got to see 4 out of 5 of Kurapika's chain abilities. And the reason for that is because he had 5 fingers. I don't know, is a thumb a finger? I don't think so. He had 5 of these open, but only 4 abilities. Kurapika's mentor Izunavi actually suggested that Kurapika keep one slot free, so that he'll be able to adapt in the future should he feel the need for, a little missing something. And that missing something is the Steel Chain, a very Chrollo-inspired Nen ability that allows Kurapika to plonk a syringe into a someone and then steal their Nen ability, just with way less restrictions than Chrollo. And by less, I mean that at face value, this ability is frankly broken. All Kurapika needs to do is pierce someone and the ability is his. And it also forces his target into a state of Zetsu as a bonus, essentially making them defenseless, as well as attackless. And unlike Chrollo, if the original Nen user dies, then the ability can still remain with Kurapika. However, there is always a however. The main restriction is that Kurapika needs to summon Stealth Dolphin in order to analyze and equip the ability, and summoning Stealth Dolphin can only be done whilst using Emperor Time, which of course reduces Kurapika's lifespan for every second he uses it. So that's why the Steel Chain combination seems so absurdly broken, because it does have pretty dire long-term costs. But on the other hand, if you're engaging in Nen combat, then your concerns are usually more short-term focused. It's very difficult to imagine someone being beaten by Kurapika and going to their death thinking, haha, joke's on him. Yeah, I lost the fight battle, but now Kurapika's going to die a couple of days sooner than he otherwise would have. Not that either would necessarily be an issue if you had this next ability. Second Prince Camilla is a front runner in the succession contest because she's one of 2 princes who came into it already knowing Nen and having developed a personal Hatsu. The rest of the princes except for Benjamin got kind of screwed over because they needed to learn everything from the ground up. Not Camilla though. She has a counteractive Nen ability known as Cat's Name, a cat who lived 1,000 times. A power which only activates after Camilla is killed. So initially this sounds not amazing, but wait for it. After Camilla dies, an invincible and vengeance-filled cat is summoned, which drains the life force of the person who killed Camilla and then funnels it back into her, thus bringing Camilla back to life. Camilla is essentially unkillable. To use the Meruem standard once more, even the Ant King would fall victim to this ability. If he killed Camilla, he gone. And this is one of the more intriguing abilities in the series for me personally, because it manages to invoke post-mortem Nen. That's why it can kill anyone, because Camilla pays a far higher cost than anyone else is actually capable of paying. Very few people can invoke post-mortem Nen and be alive to reap its advantages. But there is at least one more, and that would be our Bungie boy Hisoka, who fought against Chrollo in Heaven's Arena and was utterly decimated. One of the most one-sided fights in all anime history. Chrollo had won before they even stepped into the arena. But look, the Phantom Troop hate Hisoka because of his one weird trick, which was to program his aura to restart his heart and lungs after the inevitable death he knew was going to occur did in fact occur. And to everyone's surprise, even Hisoka's surprise, it worked. And this use of Nen to infiltrate the realm of death and navigate back to the world of the living meant that Hisoka returned to the mortal realm unfathomably more powerful and no longer subject to the limits of the living. And as of right now, the combination of Bungee Gum and Texture Surprise is capable of regenerating any lost limbs and organs that Hisoka happens to be missing. But his determination to flirt, and actually not flirt, because Hisoka went all the way with death on the first date, but that is the kind of determination that puts his powers on a tier inaccessible now to basic humanity. Hisoka has broken the system and is now fighting with an assortment of cheat codes activated, meaning that it isn't a great time to be the Phantom Troop. Meanwhile, it's never been a better time to be 4th Prince Tsoraidnik, who Yoshihiro Togashi has granted what is probably the most confusing and complex Nen ability in the series. You can see it laid out here in a very maybe helpful diagram if you want to go through it, lots of words and numbers. But this is called Parallel Future. Or more accurately, that's what we call it because the official name still has yet to be revealed. This is a specialist Hatsu developed unconsciously by the Nen genius that is 4th Prince Tsoraidnik, which allows him to see 10 seconds into the future when he enters a state of Zetsu. So there's your immediate trade-off. Tsoraidnik can become near omnipotent, however he needs to put himself in the most physically vulnerable position to do so. Where things get complicated is that it's not simple precognition. What actually happens here is the creation of a parallel universe. So you've got universe A over here. This is the real world, the one that we're in. And then over here, you've got universe B, Tsoraidnik's personal world, and they operate in tandem. So Tsoraidnik is looking and acting in universe B whilst in a state of Zetsu, and when he decides to leave, when he opens his eyes, universes A and B merge back together. Except that any action taken by Tsoraidnik in universe B becomes the canon event, leaving everyone in Universe A baffled, such as when Theta shot and killed Tyranic, only to have him appear alive and well right next to her. It's a very tricky ability, and there's a ton of nuance and all sorts of conditions that we don't have the time to go through here. But if you're interested, and you should be, I have made a whole video detailing this single ability, which you should absolutely check out next by clicking the thing